Ladies and gentlemen, today I had the craziest day of chess that I've probably ever had. Yesterday, or the last video that I have posted on the channel, I talked about how my number one secret to getting better at chess and beating 1500s was to do puzzles. In that video, I talked about how I got up to from 2100 roughly to 2400 rating on puzzles in a very short amount of time, and I only probably missed like 3 or 4 puzzles in the ascent up there. Fast forward a few days, and I did a little more puzzles, played a little more games, started building a lot more confidence, and then today, as I was waiting in a traffic jam due to flooding in my area on the way home, I decided to throw up chess puzzles on my little dash phone thing, and I decided to do some puzzles, and I kept on completing puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, and all I could think to myself is, why are these all so easy? Like, these are these are the simple ones. Why aren't they giving me the hard ones? 2500 or 2600 blows by. Well, I guess 2500 first, right? Blows by. It's like, wow, okay. Still not getting any more difficult. For one reason or another, I don't know. Did I start at 2500 or 2600? Honestly, maybe I messed all this up and I actually started at 2500. But from when I started today to whenever I pretty much stopped, I went from 2500 or 2600. I do apologize. I'm drawing a blank here. I think it was actually 2500. I went from 2500 rating on puzzles to 2800 without missing one puzzle. And I just, certainly things like that have been done. I mean, people go pretty crazy on those puzzles, but like, I'm just out here doing puzzles. Like, I'm not like a puzzle extraordinaire. I'm not like a guy who knows everything. Like, I was just doing puzzles to try and get better. I think the puzzles are helping, but I think something is clicking. You can see the rating right there. This entire time, that is hilarious. I just had this up so you couldn't see the game that I was about to do. That's pretty hilarious. But anyways, I wanted to show you 2 games that are examples of my improvement. And the accuracy rating given to both of these games, ironically, is like right at 80%. Full disclaimer. Not really sure. Sometimes it happens. Actually, the one of the Nazi Pakidze, I think, one of the commentators for the tournament at the St. Louis Chess Club going on right now, said, like, sometimes you'll play like a really awesome game, what you think is just absolutely brilliant, and then you'll look through the evaluation or the stockfish evaluation, and you got like 60 or 70%. So whatever, I'm throwing that out. I do not care about that. I just want to show you these games. If you're not impressed, don't watch my videos anymore. I think they're pretty cool though. We're gonna start out with an appetizer. Oh my, I sound like Gotham. Did I say ladies and gentlemen? Man, I really sound like Gotham Chess tonight. Anyways, here we go. Little appetizer, and then the main course, I gotta say, is pretty crazy. It's pretty beautiful. So I want to first off make sure that, okay, so you can see the evaluation bar. One of these games, I do make a blunder, and I'll explain it to you. I hang upon basically through tactics. But I want you to watch the evaluation bar, because aside from that move, I'm pretty sure the bar never stops going up in either of these games. So let's check this out here. Game against Jimmy Jr. 1221. What am I doing? All right. So are we started at the... Okay. All right. Sorry about that. E4. Scandinavian. A play like this is the best move here. I looked that up a long time ago. And, you know, the weird thing is, I guess one, like, big mistake you would think is, like, you could go here, and then and then he just takes, and you can't take back. So that's, you know, like a bullet trap, more or less. But, yeah, so obviously you can't do that. And so I opt to do this. Take back with the knight. Castle. So we got development here. Okay, like so like on this move here, we have development. He has a queen out that can be punched around, and I have a pawn in the center and two knights developed. You know, I guess this is called developing. It is. He develops. I played a bit of a slow move, but it was to control a lot of important squares. Coming here, and then I push here. I start wishing, hey, maybe I should have, like, on this move, you know, I could have maybe done some other things to try and get the knight out of the way so I can support the pawn, but, you know, it went how it went. This was my first game in this series of games that I played. And so we're going here. I attack the queen, he attacks my knight, and then here this was the blunder because he can take here, and I can't take back, obviously. And unfortunately, you know, with the rook being on the same file as my queen, that can be a kind of a bad deal. Well, he misses it. I come here, and then we're swarming in. This is kind of what I'm doing lately, and I'm just flat out getting better. But I try and just move my pieces down the board and pressure him, and anything that I can do that does not hang a piece or compromise my position, I'm probably going to try and do it. He comes here. I come in with the kill shot, which I believe just thought, yeah, it's plus 4.8 evaluation. It basically has to win something in some way. He doesn't want to get checkmated, believe it or not. So he goes here, and this is just mate in one, and he resigns. Pretty straightforward game. He just kind of made a pretty big blunder, but let's go here. The game against RMZ 35. E4. I'm just gonna keep on playing E4. You know, I play against D4 on black, but this is kind of like I want to get very good at E4. So, all right, he plays a Philidor, and he plays this bishop to G4 line, which I usually am pretty much licking my chops when I see. Takes. This is the topical lines everybody always does, and he comes here, which I think is a good line. You know, don't refer to this video for the best play here. I just know that this is typically a good move. It threatens a lot of things. Well, he pushes, which is guards his B pawn. Good move, of course. I was thinking about doing sacrifices here at many points during this game. I opt to pin. He goes here. I think, yeah, I do take. And then I long castle. I was going to long castle. I just decided to take first. And it was at this point, it was actually before I long castle that I was considering sacrificing. But I knew that he would basically move his bishop like he did here. Now, the crazy thing about this is I missed a tactic that, despite all the puzzles I've done, I don't feel too horrible that I missed. It's to take here, and he cannot take. Because if he takes with his queen, I come in with rook, and sorry, if he takes with queen, I take with my queen, And wait, let me get this right. I take with bishop. If he takes with queen, I come in with the rook here, and I believe he has to come like right here. And then at that point, I take the b pawn with my queen. And, at that point, he's probably just going to move, and then I move my rook in front. So I end up winning his queen with a rook is the moral of the story. But, so I don't find that. And I move a rook up here because I'm like, okay, I'm going to double the rooks on the d file, and I'm just going to easily win the game like that, which doesn't exactly happen. I do take his knight here, which clearly wasn't the most topical way of doing things. I don't know, maybe like I could have done the same tactic and then, well, it wouldn't work because the rook's out now. So we're not going to go too far into that, but I take here. And then from this point on, I feel like it gets a little more impressive, and then at the end it really goes out with a bang. I double the rooks, he castles. It is unfortunate that I could not check him beforehand, but it's just what we have to deal with. I come here. He comes here. Queen to c4. Rook to b8. Now, what I'm noticing is that this bishop check is going to be problematic. Okay, I have a lot of things, but he has a lot of things. Like, for example, right now, like if this queen does not defend the knight somehow, he can check me, and unless I give up a rook, and also kind of like vacate everything I don't want to vacate, he can, upon me moving to this square, take my knight because of the pin. So I'm thinking of these things. I take this pawn here, which I'll be honest, I kind of figured was not the greatest move because it opens up the lane here. But I had ideas. He comes here, and I push. I'm like, okay, this is getting hairy because my knight is hanging. I believe that if he tries to attack the queen, I move the rook in front, I'm fine. Okay. He comes here, checks me, I go here. He attacks the queen. I'm still thinking about this now because if he does it now, I got to worry about this. So, like, I got to think very hard before I move my rook off the back ring. So I go here, he goes here, and I do exactly that. I get my rook off the back rank. I believe he immediately, points his bishop here. Now, the reason I was able to get this rook on the back rank is because I knew I had knight to e2, which is the kind of calculating, I will be honest, I've never done in the past. If I think about knight to e2, I probably in the past would say, that's stupid, it's not going to work, you're overlooking things, you need to not go down this line. But I was sure about my calculation. He goes here, and from this point on, I mean, it's just like, I knew I had this in the back. I take the pawn on f6, he takes, I take, and then what does he do? I mean, he spent, we're about to see, I think, like 2 minutes on this next move, but he goes back and guards. Yeah, 3 minutes on that move. Almost exactly 3 minutes on that move. And from this point, I was thinking, okay, well, he's going to try and, well, first I take the bishop, getting ahead of myself. He goes here, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he's going to try and pick off the knight, right? Well, I'm not, and he's covering this square. So my idea is that I'm going to move the knight into action. I get to thinking about that, and I'm thinking, okay, so he comes to queen to e1 with check. My knight is now right here because I moved it there. I go here, and wait, I got ahead of myself. He comes here. I do go here. Now he comes here, and the idea is, I'm thinking, okay, do I bring my rook back? Because what he's going to do is my idea is I want to bring my knight to this square or this square. But once I do that, he's going to, let's go ahead and throw it right here, for example. He's going to come here, check me. I'm going to move up, and he's going to take this pawn, and I'm no longer going to have mate here. So I was thinking, okay, all these things, or maybe not in chronological order, but these are my thoughts I'm having. Which of these do I do? Because both of them converge on the G7 square. And what I ended up coming to the conclusion of is, with my rook hanging here, another thing to consider on top of all of that, if I go here, this works. Because if I come here, he takes. Do these actually both work for the same reason? Okay. So not as cool as I thought. It actually both works on each side. But what I did is I come here, and he did exactly what I just said. He checks, comes here. What he didn't see was check. No, absolutely. It had to be to this side because my queen would be in the way. He comes over. Check, taking the rook. And that, of course, is mate in 1. And that got me to, I'm not sure why it says 1589. I was 1597. One went away from 1600 again. And hopefully this time we're going to trudge past it. Apologize. Getting a little fuzzy. A little bit tired. That probably could have went a little bit smoother, as I say, little. But it was good times, good games. Very happy about the progress, and I just hope to get better. And I have a feeling I'm on a precipice. I don't even know what that word means, but I feel like it means what I'm thinking I want to say right now, which is that, like, I'm on the verge of getting much better. You know, there's good days, there's bad days. These are clearly good days. Bad days could come along. You know, no guarantees, but my fingers are crossed. So, thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you're having good luck with your games and your progress. If anybody would ever like any information regarding chess or like coaching of any type, I'm not like currently a coach. But like if you're like wanting to get into it and you want somebody to explain you how to like get up to like 1,000 or something, you know, I'd be glad to maybe entertain the idea. Like I said, not something I officially do, but yeah, thanks a lot and have a good night.